lesson, I wanted to just go back to our 3 warm-ups here. Okay. Here we go, folks. Before we start our factoring, our first type of factoring, we're going to go back to our, whoops, sorry about that. I said we're going to go back to our 2 warm-ups there. Because we're going to try and get from 16x squared minus 1 back. What factoring? Can I go here, please, guys? This is like the factoring is the opposite of FOILing. So what factoring is taking trinomial, in this case a binomial, and going back to the original term. That's what factoring is. How the heaven could I go from here to here in one step? How would you do that? How would you get from 16x squared and a minus 1 to 4x plus 1 to 4x minus 1? How would that happen? Yes? Good. Okay, this is actually a difference of squares. If you take a look at the square root, let's write this down, we'll do a note on it. But the square root of 16x squared is 4x. Now, if you can't do that in your head, let me show you how you do it. You take your calculator, you do 16, you hit the square root button, and x squared, the square root of that is just x. That's just going to go. Take a look, the same thing, the square root of negative 1, root of 1 is going to be 1. So there's your 4x, there's your 1. Okay. Same thing here, square root of 64x is conveniently 8x. So 8 and 8, and then 5 and negative 5. Okay, that's difference of squares. We're going to do difference of squares formally right now. Okay, is that looking familiar from last year? I hope. If it isn't, too bad. Here we go. Difference of squares is our first type of factoring. Okay, you need 3 things to be a difference of squares. You need to have 2 terms, both are square rootable. Two, you have to have no x term. Okay, the reason you can't have an x term is because you can't take the square root of x easily, right? So like x squared you can take the square root of, and numbers you can take the square root of, but not x squared. Okay, what is the square root? X to the power 1. We'll get to that in a little bit, but you can't stump me. No stumping math teachers. It's not possible. Number 3 is last term must be negative. Okay, because if you remember from our foiling, the answer 1 has to be a plus, 1 has to be a minus. So that's going to make, when you multiply them together, it's overall minus. Is this coming back for some people in the class? Sage, I hope it is for you, because we spent months and months and months doing this.
Really? I don't remember.
No one likes your brand of humor. Here we go, example 2. I'm going to start with a nice one, like, oh, I don't know. X squared minus 36. Okay. Let's look why this is a difference of squares. Like these questions will leap out at you, because the difficult thing about math, when on your test, I'm going to have a full page, it's just going to say factor. That's all it's going to say. It's not going to say difference of squares. It's not going to say what. Okay, is this a difference of squares? It is, because there's only 2 terms. All right. Secondly, there's no x. There's just an x squared and there's a number. Thirdly, there's not just a plain x. There's an x squared and nothing and then a number. Okay, who are we up to? Conrad. What is the square root, please? Oh, Anna, sorry. Anna, what is the square root of x squared, please? Okay, you do that. What's the square root of 36? 6. Conrad, what's the square root of x squared, please? X. This is an in-between step. You don't have to show this step. All I'm doing there is this is just taking the square roots. That's all this is. I think I'm going to go to the next page so everyone can see. All right, can someone, I'm not going to use Spider-Man on this one. I want to open this up to anybody. Can someone be brave and tell me what the next line is? Line is. What's the next line here? Now, if you don't know, I want you to flip back to the warm-up today. Think of how that worked. Okay. What's it going to be? What's the answer going to be? Yeah, I'll get you started. You guys can do the next one. This is going to be x plus 6 and x minus 6. Okay, so all you're going to do is you're going to take the first term and do it. The first one's going to be plus, and the next one's going to be a minus, and that's that. Okay. Is this starting to look familiar at all? Cam, yes, you remember this from last term? Okay, good. Example 3. Let's do 4x squared minus 25. We'll do one more as a class to make sure this is good. That's all that you guys try it yourself. Example 3 is going to say 4x squared minus 25. Now you can skip the middle step, but I'm going to show it here for one last time here, okay? All right, Holly, what is the square root of 4x squared, please? 2x. Marissa. That's a nice headband, by the way. What's the square root of 25, please? 5. All right, Kilty, be brave. What's our final answer here now?
X plus 2.
Nope. So what you're going to use, it's not going to be x, it's going to be whatever this number is, right?
So
2x, and then plus 5, and then 2x. Okay. So it's just whatever, that's what we do the squares. All right, I'm going to give you guys a chance to try this one by yourself because I'm feeling mean. Ready? Here we go. Let's go for. Oh, Mr. Sadler, you are cruel. 81x squared minus 10,000 as I hit pause on my video, hopefully. Ah, sugar, sorry. Ah.